Okay, before I go any further, I want to make sure these screws are out all the way. Usually when you buy them at the store, they are. You just unscrew it and make sure that they're out. You don't want to unscrew it any further than that. I don't know if you can even do it any further than that, or they could come out. You just want to make sure they're out all the way, because we're going to have to make sure we got enough room there. And these wires, the two white wires, are going to loop over these screws, and the black one's on the other side. So I've got to cut these wires and strip them off a little bit longer. Okay, that's our next step. Okay, so I'm gonna make these a little bit longer. Strip off a little bit more plastic. I don't want to get them too far. I need to have it enough. Okay, so I'm going to put the white wires on the side here first. So that means that I want to put my hole in here and I want to bend these up. Or actually, I don't want to bend those up. I want to bend those down. Okay, the white wires, I have to take that and bend it down like that. Two sets of holes in here. Okay, take that and bend that over. See there? And on the black side, I want to roll those up. The reason for the madness. Make sure you don't go it too far. Okay, looks pretty good. So far, so good. Okay, now the trick is to get those underneath these screws. Same on both sides. So I'm going to work with that a little bit and show you what that looks like. Okay, it was a struggle, but I got it. It was kind of hard to do because these wires were so short. Now, if that's giving you fits, you could always hook them into the back of the plug. Now, here's that old plug again. You see, there's holes back here. Now, you got to make sure though that these holes are big enough for your wire. These holes here are big for 15 or 20 amp wire, which is 12 gauge. Now if those holes were smaller, you could only put size 14 gauge in there. These are smaller, 14 gauge, but I've decided anyways to put the screws and connect them on the sides. It was a little bit more tricky, but I did that, so I know I never am going to have a problem with this. Okay, so now you've got to decide how these wires are going to fit down in there, because we have to push this straight in. So the black wire is going to have to push down, or you might have one that goes up, one down. Same thing on the white side. You'll just kind of have to look at that and see, and then bend the wires accordingly, see what you're going to do to push this into the wall. Each plug is a little bit different, so I'm explaining that because your plug is going to be different than mine. Okay, I got this plug pushed in. It's really important that you get that plug pushed in all the way, and you don't just think, oh, I'll just put the screws in and I'll screw it in and that'll pull it right up. Well, if these wires on the back side are holding anything, catching anything, this screw may just strip out of the plastic. So what I do is I put that screw over beyond the screw hole, and there's just a little blank spot, and then I can push in there with my hand. I do the same thing at the bottom so that I know everything's going to be screwed in and it's going to go in nice and tight. Okay, there. Now I can carefully back it back out, put the screw in the hole, do the same thing at the bottom, and know when I start tightening this up, it's going to go in all the way. Okay, before I get it in all the way, get it about halfway. I want to look at it and see if I have to twist it and bend it a little bit one way or another, because I want that plug to go nice and tight straight in. Okay, so line everything up. You don't want this tilted at a slight angle, so when you tighten this up and you put the cover plate on, one side of the plug sticking out further than the other side, and you think, oh, that's why that's like that. You can't fix it then. Now's the time to fix that. So get it all lined up nice and straight before you screw it in. Okay, we're going to screw this in. We're going to do it by hand. I don't want you taking a battery operated drill, just ramming these in. Let's do a little bit at a time. And if it's starting to be hard to tighten with the Phillips, it's got a slot in there. You can use a standard. And that works actually a little bit better. Okay. So that looks like it's going to go in nice. Like that. Okay. So I know that's going to tighten up. There's one really important thing I'm going to do first before I tighten this up. Have any idea what that is? Really important.